Those are usually interesting. And then Sunday we have the yoga with Emily in the Lions Center at 7:30. So that is what's going on campus. It's supposed to be. It wasn't.
Wow.
My mic wasn't even on. Well, you guys missed the campus events, so
Oh, wow.
check your emails for Seth Lawrence. Are your guys' mics on? I was unprepared.
Testing. Okay. Well, I hope everybody had
He's looking at me so angrily.
a good Easter. A good Easter break if you went home or however you did it.
I can't stop
I hope
laughing.
you guys had a good Easter.
Do you have your word of the day ready? Derek's back, by the way. We haven't seen
Oh
Derek for a
yeah,
while.
how you guys doing? Well, today's word of the day is gonna have to be intricate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to use that in a sentence, my plan to pass the test was very intricate. So that just means very detailed, very specific.
You had a detailed plan
Yeah, just a very detailed, in-depth plan.
to pass your test.
Yeah, just
Did it
a
involve
plan. Yeah. So intricate's today's word of the day. Always, like I said, never let a day go by without learning something new. So that's today's word of the day if you did not know already.
Love the motivation.
Yes.
Do you have a word of the day that you want to throw out there, or you like his? That's okay. Today's weather, it's storming. It's like pouring the rain right now. You guys got wet on your walk
on my walk here. Well,
Derek came in and his face was soaked.
Yeah, I had a.
It was
How?
drizzling when I left the library. So.
When you texted me and said that you were coming, me and Gregory were looking out the window and it was downpouring.
It dodged me. It stopped when I walked outside, so that's cool.
You got lucky.
Lucky.
Yeah, it's supposed to be rainy all day today. Tomorrow's just going to be like another blah day. And then Thursday is supposed to be sunny and 54.
A blah day.
Yeah, where it's just kind of like whatever. Like
Warm,
it's not really.
but it's not cold.
No, it's 47. Like I feel like that's cold, right? And then Friday is 53. It's going to be rainy again. Saturday, cloudy. It's just going to be cloudy. Monday is supposed to be snowy if the weather's cold enough. So
we're not done with snow yet?
I don't know what's going on with the weather anymore. I just feel like it's always changing and we never get something solid. I want to move out of Ohio. It's crazy here. But to move on to some super interesting topics since the semester is wrapping up and I'm sure everybody's finishing their final papers, final projects.
Yes.
Don't procrastinate writing those papers because if you guys write them, you can either send them to your professor or the Jenkins Center to review early, and they'll give you feedback so that whenever you turn in that final paper, you'll get the full points and you won't miss anything. It's always a super good idea to finish your stuff early and have it all reviewed and checked before you turn in your final copy. It'll literally save you like 30, 40 points on your assignment if you catch little mistakes here or there, and it'll make the difference between like an A, B, or C. So.
And finish strong out this semester. That's one thing very important to do is finish strong.
How you feeling about finishing strong through the semester?
I'm crawling to graduation.
Yeah.
Right now.
I can't believe you're graduating. It's crazy. So we had a visitor, but
You want to bring him on the show?
bring him on the show. So we are going to talk about some weird trends that we have seen going on social media. I'm sure that everybody has seen them, like the Tide Pod challenge, just like the things that like blow up on Twitter for no reason. They kind of get really big out of nowhere. One that is going on right now is people snorting condoms. I have never heard of that in my life, but that is apparently the trend that the younger generation, like below us, has been doing and putting videos on the internet. And things like that get so dangerous. I don't understand why people put their lives at risk for like these little things, like eating Tide Pods. What trends did we have? We had like dancing videos or like
The cinnamon challenge actually started.
The cinnamon
around,
challenge,
The
yeah.
cinnamon challenge.
I remember doing
cinnamon
that one.
challenge.
That was all like our generation, not like the young ones.
I remember.
another
I mean, what else was a big challenge?
The milk, like wasn't it like chugging milk?
Didn't one have to do with bleach?
No, I mean, you die if you
Taking
die.
shots of bleach?
Yeah, that's
I
I
death.
think there was one that pertained to taking shots of bleach and diluting
So there are some deaths, I'm assuming, with that one. But one I had just saw last night, like, you know how like the Truth or Dare movie's coming out? So kids were playing Truth or Dare and uploading their videos to the internet, and one boy, they were young and they were little rugby players, and they were like just little kids, and his friends dared him to eat this slug. And so he ate the slug, and the slug had parasites in it, and attacked his brain, and he's paralyzed now.
Wow.
They're eating his brain. Like, and I saw a picture of him. He was just like a normal little boy before, and then he ate a parasitic slug, and now he's in a wheelchair. He's a little bit deformed because his muscles are stopping, and like his face muscles are not working anymore, so his face is kind of like, it's just so sad.
So don't eat bugs. That's your lesson out there.
No bugs,
Especially
no slugs.
slugs.
Yeah,
Don't.
especially slugs, yeah.
I just don't understand,
do it.
like, I feel like having access.
Not that we had to tell him anyway, you know what I mean?
Well, apparently, because someone didn't tell that kid not to do that.
Yeah.
Truth or Dare was innocent. Well, whenever, like, I was a kid, like, nobody was eating slugs or anything. People were prank calling people and stuff.
Yeah, that used
What
to be
happened to
fun.
prank calls, too? Prank calls were fun.
Well, you prank call now. I mean, people don't take pranks like lightly, so.
Don't take pranks lightly.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, people are offended by everything, so, you know, those days are over with. But so Kenny, now that it's post-basketball season and you are on your way to graduation, I hear you have like some type of program where you and a couple players are like giving pointers and tips to younger basketball players. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, basically, we're working on a name. This is a prototype name right now. We call it the Get Better Gang. Basically, through our years of playing basketball, we are using what we learned on the court, off the court, as far as shooting, even little things that'll just help you overall being a basketball player, and just helping younger kids, ranging from elementary school all the way up to high school, just getting better on the game. So we getting them in the gym, getting them footwork drills, shooting, anything that helps them evolve as a player. Because right now they're in the horcrux of AAU season leading up to that. So just getting them in here, getting them some workouts, and trying to help out the best way we can.
Fundamentals, just working on those.
You sound so professional.
Yeah. So what's your?
Literally what I tell parents. So
Right, like
they can't not. Bring
it's like a rehearsed like speech. Like, this is what we're doing.
It's
Like,
funny because it sounds different every time. So
I can
Yeah.
imagine.
So you bring up graduation. What do you have any like post-graduation plans as far as basketball? Or just your major or anything?
I mean, working is the basic plan, but actually I'm working on a couple possible opportunities, playing overseas next level basketball. So it's just just depending on exposure and making sure I'm in the right place, right time. So that's something Laura's will.
Do you have like a location you want to play like overseas? You want to play with like the Ball brothers in Liberia, wherever they are?
My favorite place that I would like to play would be in Spain.
Spain. Okay. Interesting.
They get paid a lot over there playing basketball, don't they?
Depending on the league you're playing in, so.
So it's like, that's kind of like below NBA and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of players like play overseas and then come to the NBA. Like I know, like when there's a lot of NBA players when the season's over and they play in their like Olympic games. A lot of like NBA players go to their countries that they're from and they play for them. I've seen Ginobili play for a different team in a different country, so it happens. So yeah, I mean, best luck with that.
Much appreciated.
I've seen you play. You really got some skill. You know, you can't guard me, but
Oh, I've been watching Kenny play for years, and now he's leaving. Everyone's leaving, though. It's crazy.
yeah, the year is over. It's just finish strong. Everyone has that nitis that I don't want to call it senioritis. Yeah, but
it hit last year. So,
it hit last year.
I've been experiencing that since my junior year.
We got to rename that since you just hit it whenever, not just your senior year. Yeah, so
We'll
schoolinitis.
put you on the topic for that one. So, if you guys remember the Parkland shooting, the event that had happened a while back in Florida, well, not a while, like a month ago in Florida, and how that kind of triggered like those students to start advocating for gun control rights. So they are still going really strong. I'm sure you guys have seen it if you're on Twitter. It's all over Twitter. The kids that are advocating for that, a lot of the big social media influencers have started to join in on that, making videos and posts and just trying to help out, donations to this and that. And Oregon actually went ahead and passed a bill. They banned people convicted of stalking and domestic violence or under restraining orders from buying or owning firearms and ammunition. So they're the first state to make a movement of some kind with the laws since the Parkland shooting has happened. So a lot of states are going to hopefully follow in their lead to put some like regulation and stuff on that. Do you guys have any opinion on this gun control topic?
I mean, I guess when you say the word control, it's like you can't really control it. You can just moderate it. Like you can, for example, like you have to be 21 in order to buy a drink. You show your ID. You're not controlling underage drinking, but you're at least moderating it. You know what I mean? So you're making it harder for an 18-year-old or 16-year-old to go buy liquor, but he can still buy it, but it's harder for him to do it. So you just have to implement whatever you have to implement to just not control it, because that's the wrong word, because you're never going to be able to control it fully, because if someone really wants to buy a gun, they're going to get a gun. But you can at least make it to where, like, for example, a 16-year-old just can't go to the liquor store and buy a drink. He has to be 21. You have to there's things you have to show him the ID. So
and it's kind of like, it makes me think about like just the whole drug world, like how, you know, so many drugs are illegal, but so many things are still accessible to so many people. It's kind of like if people want to get it, they're going to get it no matter what.
Yeah, but you just moderate it. You just, so.
I just feel like it's so hard, because even if people just ban guns altogether, there's so many guns out on the market already. Like, what are you going to do about that?
Well, you can't ban guns. Like, I think that's unrealistic as far as like today's world. Like, but like I said, the best thing you can do is just regulate it. Have your laws or whatever your set standard is for in order for you to get a gun.
I just feel like it's become so much of an issue already. Like, but
it's a sticky situation,
but a lot of the people are kind of like, which I'm not in a position to like make some type of big decision or anything, but I do have like a little opinion on it. The schools are starting to require clear backpacks, like Stoneman Douglas. Yeah. That school that was involved in that. They're requiring clear backpacks. There's been a huge market for the backpack shields, like the bulletproof little things that you put in your backpacks, security checks, all kinds of stuff, and it's just so crazy that it has to be like that now. A lot of the students are saying like they feel like they're going to prison when they go to school.
Well, now
like you're in a correctional facility.
Yeah, just trying to go to school.
It's getting to the point where like you might have to implement metal detectors back in the door, so you know it's getting real bad.
Because there's some schools like that, like schools in bigger cities where it's like it's more of an issue, but that's just so crazy to think about. And another,
there was a kid in Jackson. This is like by like. So you have Canton and you have like, this is my Jackson, like by
right over there.
Yeah, this is like by my where I'm from. So there was a middle schooler that shot himself in the high school. Yeah, in Jackson High School. Yeah.
Like he went there to do it.
Well, I guess his intent was to go shoot other kids, and then this was all over the place. And whatever happened, he went in the bathroom and he shot himself, and it was like a whole story about it. And so. No one else was hurt but him, and his original plan was to shoot other kids.
Yeah.
It was I read the whole story. I know the high school was affected by it. The kids weren't going to school for days after.
Yeah,
it's just,
I can imagine.
It's terrible. So
I feel like school this year has been crazy. High schools, because have you heard of like all this the walkouts that teachers are doing? Like, they're all going on strike. West Virginia schools, a lot of the some of the girls I work with, they're still in high school. They're like the hostesses at Coreside, and they were out of school for like 2 whole weeks, and now they have to go 2 weeks into summer because the teachers were striking in West Virginia.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this, like the next 5 years is going to be like very, very crucial to like how the world plays out for a long time. Like whoever's in power, whoever's whoever is who's going to attempt to fix all of this, and like it's going to be very crucial on how we deal with all these different situations going on.
But the thing is, like our generation, I feel like our generation is a really open-minded and changing generation. Like we're going to be the people that kind of come up in power a lot sooner than we think. Like honestly, we already have the power. When we turned 18, we're allowed to vote, but over like 80% or 70 to 80% of people 18 to 24 did not vote in the last election.
We don't exercise our rights enough.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like even still, like we're old enough to vote, but the power is still in like kind of like the baby boomer generation where people are going out and voting. So like they're still making the decisions when we are old enough now and like getting into like politics and stuff. Like we can make the change, but a lot of people just don't vote.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Like a lot of like millennials, they're lazy. I mean, Some people just don't vote. Yeah.
I feel like uninformed. Like we get our news from, we don't watch news. We get our news from social media, and the news on there is like celebrities.
It's watered down.
It's always
very
watered down, and it has the opinion of the tweeter put into it. So you never taken into consideration.
And nowadays, if you watch Fox 8, you know it's their opinion. You know what I mean? So it's not much valid news you can get like that's unopinionated. So it's crazy.
I do feel like it's our generation that's going to make a big change, though. It's just going to take a few little decades to get in power and stuff, but I think it definitely starts with voting. Like, my personal opinion on it, I never voted because I never felt like my opinion really mattered, but imagine if everybody that felt that way actually went out and voted.
Exactly. That's a whole different percentage of like people who don't vote that can make a difference in who's the president, who's not, what's legal, what's not. So go out and vote.
The presidential election this year is November 6th. So, and there's a lot of like local elections. If you look online, just type in, go to like, I don't remember what the website is, but just type in like voting near me or something and put your location, and it'll tell you all the different topics and stuff that you guys can vote on.
And locations you can vote.
Yeah, you can vote local, like small here in like Rio Grande, Gallipolis type. You can vote bigger, like tri-state. Like you can just vote for.
And you can vote city, state, and country. Well, president.
Okay. the presidential election, that's coming up.
That's country, so.
I wonder what's going to happen with that.
It's going to be interesting.
That whole thing is just crazy. But, so we have a little video for you guys from a local high school. I think it was South Gaia Academy, and River Valley. It's talking about suicide, which is really avid right now. We're about to have the suicide walk here on campus is coming up. I want to say next weekend, but I'm not completely sure, so don't quote me on that. But it's a really big event. We made one here on campus. We involved as many staff and students as we could making our video, but the local high schools took it under their wing to make their own video, and I love it. I think it's so good. So we're going to go ahead and play that for you guys now so you can see. I'm proud of the high school students for making that, so enjoy.
Suicide is one of the leading causes of death for young people, but it doesn't have to be.
She was new and seemed like she was having a hard time fitting in.
I really don't remember her being involved in anything.
He took the breakup really hard.
Things weren't the same after she failed the test.
He worried a lot about disappointing his family.
He started having a hard time when his parents separated.
People were always picking on him and calling him names.
She started sitting by herself and didn't talk much to others.
She started to miss school a lot.
Every time I saw him by his locker, he looked like he had been crying.
I noticed that she posted weird messages on social media like, soon this will all be over.
I knew something was up when he gave away his grandpa's watch. He had always told me how much he loved it.
I was worried about him because he wasn't as talkative and kind of moody.
And I started to notice that he would quit talking to his friends, and he isolated himself from all of his groups that he was in.
She said she wished she could go to sleep and not wake up.
She said she was tired of feeling lonely.
She told me that she felt hopeless about pulling her grades up.
He said he wished he could disappear so he would not be a burden to his family.
He told me I didn't have to worry about him after break.
I thought about standing up for him finally, but I didn't want to become their next victim.
I wanted to know if he was thinking about suicide, but I didn't know what to say if he said yes.
I did wonder if I was making it too big of a deal about it. I didn't want to offend her.
I knew someone in the past who had attempted suicide too. I didn't want to risk it.
Even though I didn't know what to do, I knew I had to do something because I was worried about him.
I thought about inviting her to play basketball, but I figured someone else already did, so I didn't.
I was always taught to mind my own business. Everyone has a rough time at school, right?
I kept thinking, what if it were me? I'd want a friend to do something. So I shared problems that I had in the past and asked him if he felt comfortable talking to a teacher.
So I asked him, "Are you thinking about suicide?" The more we talked, the more concern he shared for his safety, so we agreed to talk to the guidance counselor.
I didn't want to be the one to blame if something happened, so I asked her if she was having suicidal thoughts. She said yes, so I called the crisis line and got advice on how to help.
I would rather have her mad at me than dead or even hurt.
So I walked up and said I'm sorry and offered to spend the rest of the afternoon with him so we could talk.
I thought to myself I'd feel better knowing I did something. We talked about who could be helpful for extra support for them and decided to call their family and tell them what's been going on.
So I went to my coach and started to ask how I could help.
At River Valley, we take care of each other.
At River Valley, we look out for each other.
At River Valley, we're a team.
Once a Raider, always a Raider.
At Galley Academy, we support each other.
At Galley Academy, we never walk alone.
Once a devil, always a devil.
At South Gaia, we believe in each other.
At South Gaia, we're a family.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
There are things you can do to identify problems and help someone in need.
Recognize when they are having thoughts of suicide and respond. Warning signs for suicide can be verbal cues of feeling hopeless, helpless, or trapped, withdrawal, isolation, change in mood or sleep patterns, substance abuse, alcohol and other drugs, giving away important possessions, looking for and obtaining necessary items, and talking about death or dying.
Take action or get others involved. Ask directly about suicide. Express concern. Listen with empathy and no judgment. Remind them help is available. Remind them they're not alone.
Make a referral to a mental health professional, guidance counselor, or community resource.
In this community, we're all in this together.
That, man, in our high schools.
Welcome back, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed that little video. Like I said, I'm really proud of the high school students for pulling all that together. I like that they did all three combined and kind of made it all flow. So that was super cute. Shout out to the local high school students for pulling that. That was really good. But we are about out of time for today's episode, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap that up now. Thank you, Kenny, for coming to join and sit in our show.
Yeah, nice having you. Very informative.
Very nice. Thank you. So yeah, catch back up with us on Tuesday 9:30 or Thursday 9:30. It's Tuesday right now, and we will see you then. Thanks for watching, guys.
See ya.